Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Kanata. I'm flying solo tonight. Margo is in Bali enjoying herself, and we're enjoying ourselves here too. We are part of the Midnight Menu Plus One food lifestyle show on the podcast network itsneworleans.com. And tonight we're at the NOLA Brewing Tap Room in the Irish Channel. The tap room is NOLA Brewing's on-site watering hole. They serve NOLA's regular lineup of craft beers as well as 8 specialty beers that are rotating all the time, things you can't get anywhere else and you may never get anywhere else. The tap room is open 7 days a week, weekdays from 2 to 11 p.m. and weekends from 11 in the morning until 11:30 p.m. Well, glad you could join us. Each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margo and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to have a beer with us, and we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who the plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, a fellow restaurant colleague. Well, tonight I am really excited. Our special guest at Midnight Menu Plus One is Tony Tocco of Cafe Atchafalya and a bunch of other things. Actually, it's not Cafe Atchafalya, Atchafalya. We're going to speak to him in just a moment. But before, and we're really looking forward to that, but before we do that, I just wanted to celebrate something that I experienced this week. I was in Cincinnati. I was out of town, and if you're a regular listener or you know me at all, you know that I can't bear to leave, like, the parish line. I can't leave New Orleans proper, never mind, like, go to another part of the country. So I don't usually look forward to the travel and the food that much, but I was really compelled to be there. I was there on the invitation of New City Presbyterian Church. A friend of mine, Josh, started that, speaking there, and they were showing my film at 20th Century Cinema there in downtown in the Man Who Ate New Orleans. And so they treat me like royalty, and I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever had, I'm going to say this with real sincerity, I don't think I've ever had a better weekend full of food anywhere in New Orleans. It was amazing, the places they took me. So they took me to, I just want to give a shout out to a few of those. They took me to Terry's for burgers, and I got one with like brie and burgundy sauce and grilled onions on this amazing homemade bun, and it was just incredible. And then I had chili that was filet mignon chili. I've never had filet mignon chili before. That was unbelievable. And then we went to Eli's Barbecue. That's everybody's favorite in town. And then, but the best of all, I just want to mention this briefly, was on Saturday, they took me, after I spoke, they took me on a food tour, and we went from, during the lunch hour until 3, we went to 3 different restaurants, and we went to the Firehouse for pizza. It was this amazing wood stove pizzas. And then they took me to this tiger dumpling, which was by far the best pork and veggie dumplings I've ever had. And then best of all is this place, Salazar's, which is, he's a New Yorker who came down and started a real high-end place, and just insanely good. And they opened up just for us. And then last of all, that night for dinner, we went to Soto's. And we got our own private room. They brought us out, believe it or not, every single item on the menu, literally everything on the menu they brought out. Every starter, every antipasti, every entree, every dessert, and they even snuck in a few dishes from actually made upstairs in their other restaurant, Boca, which is, I think, the highest rated restaurant in Cincinnati. Utterly insane, amazing food weekend. Anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to that. I know we have a lot of listeners in Cincinnati, and you need to be proud of your local cuisine. It was really an amazing experience. But enough of that now. We need to get to our special guest. I am so excited to have with us. This is one of the greatest instigators for good in our city. Tony Tocco. He's played a major role in Upper Line and Bayona and Gautreau's before he became a co-owner at the age of 27 of some of the best places in the city. He's been involved in starting Snake and Jake's and Atchafalya, Circle Bar, and a lot more. Most recently, his new app I wanted to talk about. So we got plenty to talk about. I don't know how we're going to squeeze it all in this hour, but such an honor and a joy to have you with us. Thank you, Tony.
Pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, there's so much to talk about. So before we get into any of those, why don't we just start at the very beginning? You're not from New Orleans originally. How'd you end up coming to our town? And what made you stay?
From St. Louis, Missouri. And went to Tulane University Bar and Grill. And never left. If you come from St. Louis, which I've come to appreciate retroactively, but New Orleans was very appealing to an 18-year-old coming from a pretty conservative city.
Oh, yeah, I bet. So did you come to Tulane because it was in New Orleans, or did you come to Tulane for the school?
Yeah, well, no, I chose Tulane, but I had a couple other options, but I was interested in hospitality and the lore of the food and wine, lore of culinaria here in New Orleans was pretty, loomed large. And that was a large factor in choosing Tulane, man.
So even though Tulane didn't have a big hospitality program
had nothing,
academically,
yeah.
but the city was a place that you said, this is a place I want to be if I'm interested in hospitality. So did you jump in right away into the hospitality industry when you got here? Did you get a job still as a student and so forth in town? What'd you do?
Freshman year, man, I was working at the Upper Line.
Upper Line freshman year?
Yeah.
Wow.
She hired and I looked young there, too. I'm surprised she hired me, but she was pretty cool about it and brought me along. And
what'd you do?
well, I was a waiter. I was
All right.
a waiter, yeah.
And you worked there all through college, or did you?
I worked there for about 2 years, and then I was at Kevin Vizard's first restaurant. It's where, let's see, kind of catty-corner from Creighton. I knew what's it called. It used to be that. Anyways, it was called Britannia Bar and Grill.
Oh, okay.
And it's where he had.
Yeah, in the area of Nanu and
right
and
around
Creole
there.
Creamery and all that over there,
Exactly. That
Latai and all
building.
that. Yeah, okay.
That building.
Yeah. All right,
And
so
then,
you were Kevin Vizard. Okay, another top. So you're still in college. You've already hit like 2 of the top, 20, spots in the city or whatever you've worked at. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, true that. And then I did travel for 2 years, Miami and Los Angeles. Miami worked in some real, hash house, tourist joints, really nothing of note. But out in Los Angeles, on my way to the Guitar Institute of Technology, which was the cheesiest thing on the planet, dropped out of there.
Wait, what's the Guitar Institute of Technology?
It's cheesy. I was going to a summer program where you just...
You learn guitar?
You learn guitar. It's pathetic. It's next to the Scientology building.
Are you next to the Scientology building?
Yeah.
Is it a cover for Scientology or anything? No.
No, well, I don't know.
Because there are some
at
of
the
those
time,
around. Maybe it was, you didn't know it.
This was the late 80s, spandex, long hair. It was all pretty confusing to me, man. It was Guns N' Roses hadn't even started yet. But I was down and out, and I was living in a fraternity house, and couldn't get a job to save my soul, but I finally met the right female acquaintance who had some pull at a private dining club, and that's where things got really serious. This was a dining club that it was about $50,000 to be a member, and
wow,
yeah, and it was a business club, but it was for hardcore dining enthusiasts. And they would have for Chinese night. They would fly in a team of chefs from China. There'd be about 8 of them. They put them up all week, and they'd serve a whole week's worth of stuff. It was incredible, intense learning experience. The silver domes and the white glove and.
Huh.
So it was fun to do that for a year.
All right. Well, that must have been pretty intense, though, huh? The demands are pretty high.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of demand of excellence. Is probably a lot more discipline than it had been in New Orleans at fine dining places.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there was a culture of excellence there that I heretofore had not been aware of. And these were career guys, And I remember the first time the interview, I'm like, wait, am I going to work days or nights? And he looks at me quizzically like, both. Now get out of here. And he was a French dude that just really didn't like me and my Yahoo attitude, and but worked around the clock doing that, and that instilled a discipline that I never really lost. And
so why'd you leave? It was just you wanted to get back to New Orleans? Or?
Yeah, I just meant to be there 3 months, and a year was about ready to tick, and I was way over schedule, and so I kind of meant to go back. I was a theater major at Tulane.
Yeah.
I was an actor, and I didn't do any of the auditioning that kind of goes along with being in Los Angeles. So I thought maybe I'd get back and do that. I was meeting a lot of people, but I was going back to didn't mean to. I was going through New Orleans during Mardi Gras, and I wasn't sure I was going to stay. But
where were you headed? You going through New Orleans?
I was going to go to Miami. I was going to Miami to see my parents and figure it out in the sun. But I have not left New Orleans since.
Wait, so you were on your way to see your parents and you never made it?
Yeah,
And now 27 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
How many years later?
Yeah, about 27. Good
27 years. All right. I was good with the math. Okay. Nice. All right. So, so what was your first venture in New Orleans then? What was your first employment? Are you're sleeping on somebody's couch at this point, and then you get a job?
Yeah. Susan was opening up her restaurant, and I'd been a
Bayona, huh?
Yeah, well, I'd been a big fan of her at the Bistro Maison de Ville, and she was getting her big reputation at that point. And
yeah.
If anybody remembers the Bistro Maison de Ville, it was an extremely singular dining experience.
Right.
A dining room unlike really any around town, wood, mahogany panels, and just tight, quaint, and awesome. And she just did incredible food. She was starting at Bayona.
Was Bayona her first place then on her own?
First solo venture.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. Wow.
She had backers, Ron and Regina Kiever, and kind of gave her free reign to do whatever, and they took over that spot at 430 Dauphine Street. And
so were you there from the beginning?
Very beginning.
Man, you were there opening day.
Opening day.
That's historic.
Well,
And you think of how many great restaurants, places like Stella, and just amazing restaurants in New Orleans have not made it very long. I mean, they've made it 10 years or 5 years. That place has been around, 26, 20, something like that, right? 27 years.
Yeah,
Bayona, it's been a while.
25 years, 25,
Yeah,
6, Against, if you would have been there opening night, you would not have bet so long. But that's any restaurant opening.
Yeah,
up.
that's right. I mean, it's so competitive
restaurant.
here. It's nothing about the restaurants. It's just and especially in the quarter with the rents high and all that kind of stuff and so much competition.
Without a doubt.
But she's just knocked it out for years there. That's amazing.
She's got a hardcore following.
All right, so then you went from there to to Gautreau's, didn't you? Or somewhere in between?
Those are the days. Gautreau's Larkin was just starting. Gautreau's Larkin Selman, and within months of Emerald's opening up, and then what was that third one, Dave? It was Emerald's, Bayona. Anyways, about it. Gautreau's, not unlike Peristyle, John Neal, where he was the chef. Those were the kind of places that they would recruit you because they had a small staff. You worked 5-6 days a week, and it was very a committed type of lifestyle. And there was no putting an ad. There was no Craigslist back then, but there was no putting ads and classifieds. You were recruited to kind of come to that house. If they heard you were a good waiter, they'd kind of get to know you. So I got recruited and asked to come over there, and Larkin had 5 beans in the Times-Picayune. That was under Gene Borg at the time.
Jeez.
And he wasn't giving those beans out freely.
Yeah.
I mean, some argue he was the best critic we've had.
Right.
And
I've heard that, yeah.
I would, tend to maybe agree with folks. Anyways, he gave Larkin 5. They were just jamming.
Okay, so now at this point, are you already aspiring? Because after that, we're going to jump to your next ventures, and those are all your co-owning places and opening places.
Mm-hmm.
Very different from in some ways from the places you've been working at. Like, are you already dreaming about doing that, or are you just thinking, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and do it do this thing for the? Are you going to be a server and so forth forever, or do you know already you got aspirations that you want to be an owner, co-owner of places?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed waiting tables, man. I was known as Tony the Waiter. I had my following, a lot of call parties, and I just love being your tour guide. I mean, we'd have long 2-hour meals, and I would just guide you through several courses.
Right.
I love knowing the wine list, doing the pairings, and I really cared as a waiter. That's just what I did. I was having fun doing that. I guess I always kind of thought, I would have my own place somehow or another. There had to be more money on the other side of the cash register or whatever,
Right.
So, but eventually I knew I'd start trying to. I just felt like I had a handle on it, and I could do it.
All right. Well, I mean, you've been involved in the owning of and the starting of 3 or 4 places. But your first one was what? Your first one was that
Snake and Jake's
that was Snake and
Christmas
Jake's
Club Lounge.
Man, so that name, what I heard is, tell me if this is true. I heard that it was at one point it was called that property, which you guys bought for like $17,000 or something, right? It was like nothing, but. Isn't that right? But
it was not expensive.
Yeah,
the bar came with.
Well, it doesn't look like it's all that all
Imagine
expensive
that,
either.
yeah.
But I'm sure it's a cash cow now. But it wasn't a Sam's Christmas Lounge or something like that, and then it was like, and there was another Snake and Jake. So you just put the 2 signs together or something, right? Didn't you?
No, it was called the Christmas Club before it was called Snake and Jake's. And we, Snake, is an old lovable black guy. He moved out of there and onto the corner bar, which we eventually bought that. But he moved up there, leaving this vacancy, and we're like, well, all right, man, my buddy bought the house next door to it, and it came with the bar. Like, he didn't even want it. He knew I was trying to buy a restaurant called La Cucaracha down on Oak Street. That fell through. I didn't have enough money, but I certainly had enough money for Snake and Jake's. And nobody else would go in with them, and I said, it's great. And it was very imposing.
So you guys just had to split $17,000, and you got a house and a bar and everything that went with it, and all the stuff in it and all that?
Dave actually owned the property.
Okay.
But so it cost us about $3,000 to open Snakes.
That's crazy.
$3,000, yeah.
Okay, well, this is 19. When was this? This is a while ago. This is
91, maybe 92.
91. Okay, so today's dollars, you're still talking about pocket change, though. It's amazing.
I think we rang that much the first
Yeah.
night. We had 7 bands. It was on Lundi Gras, which happened to be Valentine's
You opened on Lundi Gras?
Day, on Lundi Gras, and
Nice.
we had 7 bands booked, and which was just bizarre. And
Wow.
went away just to clean up because we've been pounding the nails around the clock.
Right. Well, every single person knows Snake and Jake's locally, obviously. Everybody's been there. Everybody knows it. But maybe some of our listeners aren't familiar. I was trying to find a way to describe it. As I'm floundering around, I found Laura McKnight's Time Picayune article from about a year ago, and she said, entering Snake and Jake's Christmas Lounge can feel like entering another universe, a shadowy, red-lit place where time does strange things. Hours disappear, and night and morning become relative concepts. I thought that was like, that's it. Okay, now that's what I was trying to say. So you guys used to give out, like big, giant sunglasses to folks, too, because they go outside and be hit by a new time of day, and it was jarring, right?
Yeah, we would buy, those cheap Chinese, like fluorescent Wayfair type things, right. And had Snake and Jake's on the side of them, but we would hand them out as you would leave at about 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning.
Yeah, man, I've had a lot of people tell me, and this is my experience too. You move to New Orleans, and it's like you're moving into a new world. It's like down in the Alice in Wonderland. You're going down the rabbit hole, but like Snake and Jake's then is like a hole within a hole. It's like it's like another world within the other weird world.
Oh yeah,
and it takes it another level. just hanging out there is just like a whole sort of psychedelic experience.
It's so dark in there, you think you passed out. You're like, oh man, I'm just. Well, the thing is, we didn't know I didn't know anything about bars, to tell you the truth. I mean, besides being a really good patron of them, but. We didn't follow any playbooks. We just did what we did. And for the first 8, 9, 10 months, nobody would come see us because there were four crack houses right across, not just crack houses. I mean, there was heroin, there was bad prostitution, there was gambling.
Well, you guys had a shooting, right, early on in the place, didn't you? Didn't somebody get shot in front of your place or something?
Well, inside, yeah.
Inside?
Yeah.
That usually doesn't bode well, like.
No, we didn't feature it or advertise it.
Well, I mean, there aren't too many bars in New Orleans that have survived 24 years and are still thriving 24 years later. I mean, there are some, but that's not the norm. But then there's definitely not a lot that had like it was like a triple shooting. I mean, nobody got killed, right? But it was like a bunch of people got shot, right?
Well, to be fair, if you do get shot in Snake and Jake's, you drink for life for free.
Really?
Yeah. It's a
a
policy.
Oh, that's almost worth it.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
How many shooting victims have you had total?
Oh God, I don't know. Let's see. Hold on there. No, just that damn one. And to be fair, 2 bullets hit 3 people. So it was.
It's like JFK. It's like the magic bullet, the magic Jake's bullet.
I might have actually shot somebody.
Tony, introduce me because I have to.
Oh my! All right.
Wait, is this one of the shooting victims? Hold on. What's going on?
No, but I have aimed for him before.
All right, tell us who your +1 is and why you chose him.
I was thinking about that, and he didn't really know what we were doing tonight. I said we're gonna go to the brewery.
You didn't tell him he was gonna be on the show?
No.
No. Seriously?
Yeah,
That's a first.
But we opened
Why
up.
didn't you tell me? You're afraid he was going to chicken out, or you just thought it'd be funnier to?
I didn't know if we'd have anything to talk about, so I thought we could talk about this.
Exactly. And if we planned something that
how I shanghaied my buddy.
So who is this?
David and I opened. David Feel No Pain. He's a legend here in town. We opened up Bayona together.
Feel No Pain.
He's from the Carbondale, Illinois.
Was that your birth name? Feel No Pain.
Feel No Pain. My brother Window. My
Window Pain.
Sister Ura Pain.
Ura Pain.
My brother Les Pain.
And your wife.
My wife Ima Pain. Yeah, the whole Pain family.
Is Pain your real name?
My last name.
Oh, okay.
It was better than Pain in the Ass.
Okay.
Payne.
All right. So what's your relationship?
Wait.
Yeah.
I just want to go back. I never knew you worked in a private club.
Yeah.
In L.A. for almost a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did not know that about you, Tony.
I guess I don't really.
So 25 years ago,
the Regency Club.
Yeah. Because we're going to get to.
Well, see, we opened up Bayona together. Bayona. And they always paired us together because.
Wait, have I been mispronouncing all these years? It's not Bayona, it's
Susan
Bayona?
says Bayona.
Susan says Bayona.
Regina says Bayona.
Oh. And she
the
says
Spanish
it in a rather,
say it Camino de Bayona, which is what the road is. That's the family.
Huh.
Bayonne.
This is like Burgundy and Burgundy and all these other, Cadas and
Susan
all
doesn't
these multiple.
see it that way.
Okay, she's sure.
It's Bayona.
Bayona.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, she's the owner. She gets to say it, right? She's the majority.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, all right. So, just one thing about the courtyard. As long as we were just talking about Tony.
Yeah.
Talking about.
You got to talk into that machine.
There. All right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Talking about Bayona.
Okay.
When you and I worked together,
yeah,
I
we
was
did.
your back man. You were the best front. Now I realize why you were so good at front.
Why?
You did that year in L.A. I never knew that.
Well, that was like.
Okay.
It was my
So anyway, tell the story of how we filled up the courtyard. We got Regina'd. Which is set 9 tables all at once.
Regina'd, it was called?
That was
Regina,
it was a verb.
She would work the door, she'd just seat every table and just in order, and your station would be full, and then the next station would get every table, and then the next station.
So one guy's standing around doing nothing, while the other guy's got 9 tables.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, there are only 9 tables on the courtyard. Tony and I always got the courtyard because we'd make so much money out there.
Yeah.
But just tell them one story. We have to go on. We have a lot of things
it's not.
to
I mean, okay. So we just got off. So, anyways,
completely sat.
Everybody sat at the same
Running
time.
our
So
ass
now everybody's
off.
on dessert, and
Everyone's
you have
on
dessert
dessert.
specials. You have to give 3, 4, 5, 6.
Tony's
dessert
front and I'm
specials,
back
And I'm
in.
like, oh my god, this is going to take forever. And I've got my little roots, my song and dance on the specials.
Right.
So I said, would y'all mind if I really just gave everybody at once? And I stood up on a chair. And,
No, you went up the steps.
I went up
Tony.
the steps.
You went up the steps. There were steps in the back.
I went up because there was a balcony. I went up the steps, and
Right, where the office was.
I just kind of gave a big old speech, like on a balcony scene, to everybody down below about all
Told
the
them
dessert
all the
specials.
Like
All the-
Juan Perón.
all the specials.
Yeah.
Told them all the
Balcony.
specials.
All right.
And then Susan comes out, and clipboard and clogs, clopping, and she sees
She
me.
comes out of the office.
She didn't like it?
She loved it.
Yeah, and she's like hands on hips, as we call it. And she's going, what the hell? She's mouthing to me. And I go, everybody, Susan Spicer, everybody, Susan Spicer. And everybody turns around, sees her. They go, oh, gosh,
Slinks
oh,
back
my, oh,
in-
my. And
slinks
she
back
hated
into the
publicity at the
kitchen.
time, and
Oh,
she
she
runs
hated
back
it.
inside. And
All right, so
oh, yeah.
the other thing, Snake and Jake's was not, you make that like it was a terrible place. You cleaned up the neighborhood there.
Well, the
Tony.
point is, that, I had those
That was
crack
a
houses.
scary
Nobody
place to
would
go.
go.
That was a very
It was me and the
scary
crickets
place
for
to
8,
go
9
back
months.
then.
Everybody was intimidated because of those crack houses, right?
Yeah.
And about in the 9th month,
Well, did that?
I woke up. No, see, I woke up to a backhoe, a dump truck, and a bulldozer, and they gave us that parking lot in the front, and then it was no longer as foreboding.
But it's
Wait, what
still,
happened?
Tony, you cleaned up the neighborhood.
Somebody demolished the crack house?
Well, yeah, the city did.
I always heard that was.
But nobody
Was
would
it-
go there for
But I
the
mean,
first.
was that good or bad for business having the crack
That was
house
great.
out front?
No, there was no
it-
business.
Yeah.
That's I mean, people.
No,
got
it
us
wasn't good. It
crazy
needed to
for
be down
getting
the
into
block
Snake
4
and Jake's.
blocks.
Oh, okay.
Didn't need to be next to Snake and Jake.
I mean, it was dangerous.
Now, okay, so I've only been in New Orleans a little less than 10 years. So when I got here,
all right, okay.
I know, I'm trying.
You haven't been
I'm
out of the
working on it.
parish until you went to Cincinnati. Why the hell would if you did go out of the parish, go to Cincinnati? What, it had to be 20 below.
It was 18
God.
below. But no, it was 8 below. But listen, I was going to say, Dr. John used to live across the street from y'all, didn't he?
That's more of a recent thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
actually.
saying.
Yeah,
When I went by or whatever.
Right,
And,
right.
But that was
Snake and
one
Jake's
of,
is still open?
Oh, come on. Now.
I did not know that. I'm sorry, I did not know that.
Come on, man.
I haven't been
Thriving
there.
more better than
I have
ever.
not, I have not been
So
there
I mean,
in 10 years.
the good thing about the crack house, I would think, is like they're not going to show up at the zoning meeting to oppose you or whatever, right? I mean,
They had some meetings about us,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Tony Bourdain actually wrote a letter in our favor.
cleaned
That
up
was
the
kind of cool.
neighborhood.
Tony Bourdain wrote a letter for you in your favor for Snake and Jake's. In the early days?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just read Kitchen Confidential, and I saw him on the street, and
See,
I
that
knew
would
it's
have been
where.
2000. That would have been 2002 or 2004.
That guy, what the hell? I mean, it's like he shows up all the time and does these little miracles for New Orleans and then disappears. He's like the fairy godmother of New Orleans or whatever.
I
mean,
met
these
him
little
down. I
stories.
met him down at
It's crazy.
Vaughn's, and I just read the book, and I got his attention. I say, "Hey, man, you want to see this?"
He's out of Vaughn's.
I go, "You want to see the seamy underbelly of New
Another
Orleans?"
kind of seamy place.
Because
I mean, seamy area.
I was still working at Gautreau's, and I'd get off at 11. I would run over there, take the chains off the door, and open for 12 o'clock at night. And finally, just waiters and cooks would come in. So he dug that.
So you opened a bar that didn't open till midnight.
That's
it
right.
Started at midnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you took Anthony Bourdain there.
I took Tony there, and then he wrote a chapter about
Tony.
it in that book, Nasty Bits, like
Oh wow.
hanging with it.
Well, I mean, really, honestly, Snake and Jake's is that kind of place though, where, kidding aside, like other cities don't have a single place anything like it. And
Yeah,
tourists
every
will go in
city
there,
has- yeah,
and
they
they'll
do.
be like, every city does not have a Snake and Jake's.
Well, except for not if you don't wear any clothes on Thursday, you drink for free. But besides that, you've got
Besides
a bar
that, it's
like
normal. No, I mean, it's one of those sort of dive bars that's like but it's not, there's dive bars that are just gritty, but it's like, gritty and interesting, and you get this mix of like, you get the tourists, and then you get the high-end people like, Quentin Tarantino and Jude Law and Tatum O'Neal and Bourdain and George Clooney, but then you also have just the, the down and out, street people hanging out around there, and you have everything in between.
Yeah.
It's still open.
And it's just such a real.
Well, that was my, I mean, if I'm proud really of one thing, and it's an impossible place.
Yeah.
And I'll give you that. I mean, it's a fire trap with a liquor license, And, exposed wiring, faulty plumbing. We didn't think we would get our liquor license, and that's where the name came from, because it was called the Christmas Club, which used to be the name of old savings account. So it's like having a library. It's like having a bar called the library on a college campus. You could always say, hey, Mom, you can charge these things, and it says to the library. It
says to the Christmas Club.
So, guys used to go, hey, honey, I'm going to go make a deposit in the Christmas Club. So it's called the Christmas. So, and it was called Snake and Jake's Afters. We just put both names together so we wouldn't raise any flags at City Hall. And that's where the name came from. So we, just trying to ease the transition.
Wouldn't raise any flags. They wouldn't know. Yeah, they wouldn't notice that there's no owners.
Names, yeah.
All right, so I only had two more things.
Oh, for God's sake.
1,400 restaurants.
What?
1,400 restaurants in town now.
Well, in the metro area,
And I just want to go back to Snake and Jake's one more time. You said people shot there. People were shot in Galataoires. I was there with several shootings.
What?
Oh,
people shot at Galataoires?
Of course.
Dave used
who
to
shot who?
He used to be the maitre d' at
Come on.
Galataoires.
The ex-maitre d' came in and shot somebody?
He's the ex-maitre d'.
You were the ex-maitre d' in Galataoires.
No one. They didn't do it deliberately. The guns go off when girls have guns.
That
Guns
doesn't
go
count
off.
if he shot himself in the foot.
And if it happens to be someone allegedly.
Well, okay, hold on a second. I want to know right now, any of our listeners that work at Galataoires, if you get shot in Galataoires, do you get to eat drink there for free for the rest of your life? I want
Just
to know
like it's
that.
Snake and Jake's. Yes, that is the rule.
Is it really the rule?
That's the rule.
Is that just universal through the whole city?
I would think
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
That's all I have, Tony.
Oh, is that it?
I have no idea what's going on. Okay. Well, listen, we can talk about this all night, and I'm dying to talk about the Circle Bar too, but I want to skip forward because I'm worried that we're going to be running out of time at this rate. And tell us about Atchafalya, because that's a different sort of place too. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't, I can see where it transitioned from opening up, from going to Circle Bar would be natural in a lot of ways. With Snake and Jake's, though, it's different. But Atchafalya is a whole other animal.
Yeah.
So what was that all about? Had that come about? I know it had been a place before. Yeah. It had been Cafe Atchafalya before you guys were involved, right?
That's right.
And just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it actually had been something for about 125 years. It was called Petrosi's for, I think, 40, 50 years. And then it became Cafe Atchafalya. This woman named Beth James bought it and christened it Cafe Atchafalya. That's actually Dave Malone's wife from the Radiators, oddly enough. And she ran it for about 2-3 years and realized, oh my God, it's way too much work so she sold it to a woman who really popularized it. And she was a whiskey drinking, chain smoking, fire breathing lesbian named Isla Pope.
All right.
She really put it on the map. And it was just Southern food and fried this. And it was kind of a dump. But Katrina came. She went to God, after Katrina.
Oh.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah. And this guy, a guy I know took it over, and he brought it down to the studs, did that cool renovation that you see now. But he was a better hammer.
Big frying pan on the side and all that.
Yeah, that's enough. Where do you get something like that fixed? You got to go to the Kerns, I guess, or something like that.
The Kerns.
Yeah. But it was called Cafe Atchafalya. I was so broke I couldn't afford the whole name, so I dropped the cafe part.
Saves letters.
I could charge more that way.
You're the only 5A restaurant in the city, huh?
That's right. That's what I could say with complete honesty. But I really was. It was on a dime, and I had like $25,000 in cash stolen.
And what
from
year
me,
is this?
This is 6 years ago. I guess 09, 08.
Okay.
And really, what we would sell on the second day of business was completely dependent on what we sold the first day in business, because we would just scramble to the store and get ingredients, and it was just flying by the seat of your pants. And we made it happen, and just slowly became a little ambitious. And chicken or the egg thing. You try to get good talent to come there, but you can't pay them, and you can't guarantee waiters good money or good waiters to have good money because there's no business. So I'm parking your car, waiting on your tables, making your salad. I'm putting hats on. We had lucky thing. We had a chef that was really underrated, and he kind of pulled it all together. He was
who's
that?
He
was good at all. It was Mark Springfloat, and he was good at all the non-sexy things about being a chef. Consistency, reliability, just putting it all together, and he made it happen. And he made just real honest food taste good, and in that environment, and good service. So. Well, we slowly built, and then Chris Lynch joined us 2 years ago, and I had my eye on him.
That's a major coup.
Yeah.
He was sous chef at Emerald's, right?
He's chef de cuisine.
He's chef de cuisine at Emerald's. Yeah, okay.
We worked at Gautreau's together 18 years ago.
Okay. So, I'll tell you, I used to go to Atchafalya before you all had it, right after the storm. They were really kind. We used to we used to have my church had a rented property a block from there. We used to send all these missionaries there to work on houses. And when the prior owner found out about it, she just always treated them all the time, which was great. But the only downside was it always took like 3 hours to get our meal, you know. And one time I was in there for 2.5 hours, and I finally just left. I hadn't gotten a menu yet, you know. I was paying, but that was, you know, it's changed a little bit since then.
I think your order came up right when I took over. Yeah.
Can I get that now, by the way? Can you fill that now, please? That would be awesome. But, we loved it, though. The food was fantastic, and now you guys have obviously taken up a notch. The thing I like about Lynch's menu, to me, is it seems like you've kept some of that southern comfort food that you had.
True.
But then also, so you got the lump crab meat and, on the, fried green tomatoes and all that kind of stuff that, the standby kind of heavy but delicious kind of things. But then you also have just a lot more creativity came to it and a lot more inventiveness and all those kind of things. And so was that his how do you do the menu? Is that all him, or is that a dialogue between you and him,
I said, you can do whatever you want. I didn't really mean it, but I said, come on in and do whatever the hell you want. And I said, and you understand why. People freaked out over that damn crab ravioli, and if you look at it, it's monochromatic. There's no acid to balance the fat. It's just it's a wave of uncrimped pasta with some really nice crab meat. And it's, any first-year culinary student would go, point out those things I just said. And so he's going, okay, yeah. So he makes it maybe even better. Puts a little tomato concasse around the side, puts some acid. He lightens it up with ricotta cheese, man. Made it great, but you would put it down, and some customers have been having it for a long time, and you put it down, they're like, what the hell is this? And that's the ravioli. And they're like, it's not the ravioli. I drove 2 fucking hours to pick up your damn ravioli. So I'm going to go to the restroom. When I come back, I want the ravioli I came for. I'm like,
so you just wipe the stuff off the edge?
So I said, Chris, can we just go back to the old one, man? So that fried green tomatoes.
That was a Treme storyline,
he did the food for Treme for a couple years.
But that was the storyline, right? The crab ravioli was like, wasn't that it? I think there was a thing about that, and the Susan Spicer character. Correct. So look, your two worlds coming together. The Susan Spicer character, the Susan Spicer-esque woman that was in it,
right,
she was trapped in doing the crab ravioli. She didn't like it anymore. She thought she wanted to do other stuff, and they kept making her do the crab ravioli all the time.
Oh, some.
So she quit her job because of it.
Okay.
All right, just a cautionary tale.
I'm pretty sure what I'm saying is true.
He doesn't have HBO, so he.
Oh,
man! If they stole that storyline from you guys.
I wonder, man.
Yeah.
Well, DJ Davis steal something? Oh no, no way. Davis Rogan? No,
he used to play music with us, Davis. Yeah,
I love DJ Davis.
Well, now we
he
should
was
say
madly
too.
in love with Susan.
We never have anybody on the show that we don't like the place where they're involved with. So we're honest and sincere in our gushing about it. But honestly, it's not just us. Atchafalya has been named recently. It was just real recently. I read somewhere it was top 10 brunch place in America, which is kind of stupid because New Orleans isn't really America. But if it was in America, it deserves to be on that list. That's amazing. It may have been the only New Orleans place I think I saw on that list too, right?
It was.
That's kind of cool.
Well, man,
that's got to be gratifying, right?
It is. It was already really damn busy. Now it's crazy busy. I hate turning anybody away. that's the truth. I hate people coming to my restaurant. I used to beg for people to come to that place, and to have people turned away, and it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. But I'm very proud of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, very, very proud. But in our food, yes, it's very, very good. But it's the fiasco that is Saturday, Sunday brunch that makes it so. So we have live music, but we don't have Danka, just filler Dixieland jazz.
No, it's good
we have
music.
the city's finest musicians playing,
you do.
And we pay well, and we feed them well, and they like being in there. And what the hell? What else are they going to do?
They don't have a stage
Sunday?
though. They're on chairs in the
They're
bar.
on
But
chairs.
that's fine. As long as they can
Riser
be cool
is
with
coming. Riser's coming.
Nice.
But what else are they going to be doing on a Sunday morning? Point is, when we take care of them, they like being there. And I don't know why, but there should be more places that put food. This city stands for two things: it's food and music.
Right.
What you do with those two things and how you work them, up to you. But we are food and we are music. Putting them together, to me, is a no-brainer.
Yep.
Nobody else does it. And I'm so proud to be able to employ musicians, have great music, have good food, and it's just a party there. It's a party. Right. Now, I'm a little worried because Thursday, Friday, and Monday, we don't have live music, and people are going to start comparing now that they got the top 10 brunch thing. Yep. But so I guess I got to have bands 5 days a week now.
Oh, you thinking about it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's huge. Is this like a scoop for us, or you've been telling other people this?
No, I scoop for you.
All right. You heard it first here, guys. That's huge. Well, listen, we need to take a
play
break
the
for just a
harmonica,
moment.
Tony. I play the harmonica.
All right, he's available.
Yes, you do. He sings
All
the
right.
best happy birthday you've ever heard.
All right. Well, let me take a break for just a second and thank our sponsors, and we'll return to the conversation as soon as we are able to do this. I want to thank again tonight NOLA Brewing Tap Room, the watering hole of the NOLA Brewing Company on Chapatula Street in Irish Channel, where you can get all the NOLA Brewing beers plus another 8 specialty beers you can't get anywhere else. And we also need to thank our friends at Petite Pet Care. While you're working or on vacation, you don't have to board your pet. He can stay in the comfort of his own home for love and care when you're not there. Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com. And last but not least, we also want to thank Hangover Destroyer, allegedly the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website, hdestroyer.com. Write Midnight Menu in the coupon code, and you get 30% off your order of Hangover Destroyer and seize the dawn. Okay, well, okay. Now that we're back, I'd like to thank you very much. I'd like to ask Dave just a little bit more about your story. I'm afraid to ask, but okay. So you were maitre d' at Galataoire's, and
that was my retirement job, my first retirement.
Your first retirement.
That was after the storm.
That was after the storm. So then,
and then it was sold. The family sold it, and I was the first to go.
You were the first to go. Why were you the first to go?
A year to the date. Well, because I wasn't part of the new family.
He's funnier than he is effective.
Thank you very much. That's correct.
Is that true?
That's there you go.
Well, you know, but there's
In
a place for that, though.
right there. Well,
Yeah, he's
it's
at
getting-
Atchafalya. He works with me now.
No, Tony.
Is he really at Atchafalya?
Yes, that's true.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Saturdays and Sundays, he's fired me, and I just won't leave.
What do you do there?
He won't stay fired.
I listen to whatever Tony tells me to do.
He's a maitre d'. Come on, he's very good. He helps me seat people.
and he feeds me. So
Wow.
that's-
He's
carry it out.
He's
No,
been the maitre
no.
d' at NOLA, Bayona. Come on, man.
I came here 31 years ago as a 30-year-old busboy at Mr. B's.
And Mr. B's.
Yeah, and
Wow.
became the manager and was manager there for
You're
2.5
manager of Mr.
years.
B's?
Yeah, 2.5 years. Waiter with Tony at Bayona. Opened up NOLA. Opened up House of Rules. Did I say House of Rules? House of Blues.
Oh, I hadn't heard of House of Rules. Okay.
It is now. It's you can stand here, but you can't stand there. It's gotten really bad. Back to Bayona for almost 7 years. Opened up the best restaurant that had been opened forever with Scotty One.
One, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, not
On
one,
Hampson?
but no, the
Lee Circle.
restaurant.
Yeah,
We got 4 beans. We were the only.
And that was
Only
Gene Borg,
restaurant.
too? No,
No,
Gene
it
Borg.
wasn't Gene. It was
that guy.
goofy guy.
Yeah.
All right. Then Bombay Club before the storm.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
that was good. He's a legend,
That was a
man.
great gig, boy. That was when it was 4 deep. There was a place that did food and music.
Yeah.
Now, she's moved around the corner, and the Valentinos have opened up Bombay Club
I didn't know
again,
that.
so they are both doing music.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go.
If you can get off the pain
Richard
meds,
Fitz.
you should write your memoirs. This is like you
that's just
got to
a-
have some experiences with all this. It's amazing.
I'm dyslexic and left-handed, so I can't write that well.
Wow.
Well, you did NOLA, too, though. You opened up NOLA.
No, I said no.
He said no.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
An Emerald restaurant. That's yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Emerald called me and said he had a job with a lot more hours and a lot less pay. And I said, "Oh, you got a manager job."
Yeah.
And he offered me Emeralds, and I said, "No, I don't want to wear those padded shouldered suits. I heard you're opening up NOLA."
Well,
in
that was
Quarter."
the 80s,
And he
huh?
said, "No, I'm not opening up a restaurant." And then he called me back 2 weeks later and said, "Okay, I'm opening up a restaurant in the French Quarter.
Funny.
Will you be?"
Wow, he would acknowledge you that. Why do you think that is?
He wanted me to work at Emeralds, and then somebody from there go down there, but I didn't want to
You
work
wanna
at
do
Emeralds.
it.
Emeralds was too snooty for me at that time.
And you knew that NOLA would be more.
I think it's a
your
wonderful
speed,
place
more
now.
your vibe. Yeah. Okay.
And I wanted to open up. I was having fun opening up places. That was the most fun I ever had, was opening up Bayona.
So you're gonna
No,
retire
House of
at
Blues was the
Atchafalya,
most
Or are
fun.
you gonna? Are you?
No, I just helped Tony out. Tony needs help. He's fired me.
He won't stay fired.
I won't stay
What have you
fired.
fired him for?
Well, I worked
Stuff
for him.
like this.
I don't know. I think he's got the complaint. He's the one that got suckered into this. You didn't even tell him. He thought he was going to get a beer, and he ends up on the radio.
I've had a couple of beers.
This is his official time
But
out.
I thought you told me we were talking about Specialus. This thing I have no idea. I do not understand
I know you do.
This
Well,
app.
that's why I thought you'd be perfect because he has no idea. I tried to explain it to him.
Okay. Yeah, we
We don't have-
I want to make sure. We're going to skip the other segment that we do.
No, let's don't. We're cool. Keep
No,
going.
because I want to hear about the app, and I want us to run out of time by doing off
What's
the
the
menu.
other segment, though?
Off the menu, it's not as interesting as your app. Go ahead, definitely give us your app.
Well, I don't
So
know. Is
this-
it like a quiz or something like that?
Yeah, it's a quiz, but I'll tell you what. If we,
Wait, tell me about Laotour.
Laotour.
Artur. What's the name of your band?
My band. I'm not in a band. Oh,
thought you-
Laotour. Yeah, Laotour.
Is that a band?
Yeah, it's a band.
So I'm crazy?
What about that?
La
you say
Poupée?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was my suggestion that you guys learn that song.
Who'd you tell that to?
One of
To
Scotty's
Vince?
friends.
Oh, your friend with Scott Galante.
Yeah.
Ah, that's right. I remember
With
your friend
Michelle
Scott Galante.
Pontonouf, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Luna does a cover of that song.
Ah, nice.
I'm not in a band. Oh.
Ray, you're in a band.
I'm not really in a band. I
Okay.
helped them out.
That's
them
why
out.
I read
that's
your
why I am
bio,
at
man. I read your
Atchafalya. I helped him
bio.
out.
Helped out a little bit.
I'm not really in the band. I just helped Tony out at Atchafalya.
Well, that's so funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Scott could be a whole other conversation. He's not here, so we can rag on
Oh,
Scott
we could just
together.
have all day, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Scott could be a month of Sundays. That'd be amazing.
He's my brother.
I love Scott so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk about Scott in a minute. But
Okay.
first, I want to make sure we talk about this app because that's your latest venture, and it's really
And I
kinda
don't
unique.
understand it.
Okay,
I don't really understand it either. So you created it was created by hospitality professionals and food enthusiasts for
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
you're
all
the
that.
ones.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
all that.
the gang.
To allow cooks and kitchens to speak directly to their audiences about their daily creations, right? Through the power of the interweb or whatever it is.
That's right.
Yeah. So how's that work?
Well, my carrier pigeons kept dying, and no, man. The thing is, I work my own door, my own restaurant, and I know your blood type by the time you leave. I ask, how did you hear about me? How did you hear about the restaurant? Blah blah blah. And at any one given time, 9 out of 10 people, say on a Saturday night, they will have said they used Yelp to get to me. Now Yelp is 34% fake.
Right.
Bought,
Yeah.
paid for. It's a cottage industry.
Definitely.
And, it's just the disingenuousness
It's helpful.
of it all.
It's helpful, but it's
no,
got
always,
limits.
aggregated group opinions, aggregated sources of opinion is
Right.
always going to be helpful, and
Right.
I get that. But it has so much impact now that it's corrupted from within because people are using to their advantage. They're paying for the reviews.
Right.
You have people paying $5,000 for 100
Right.
5-star reviews. That ups their average.
Right.
And people are blindly following
Right.
whatever Yelp says.
Right.
And then you have Urban Spoon, TripAdvisor, Chowhound,
Right.
all these things like that. Now, that's okay. I get it.
Yeah.
And it always will be helpful. But the kitchens do not have a voice. The restaurants do not have a voice in
Right.
this matter whatsoever.
I've never heard of any of those anyway.
You have no idea what he's talking about, do you?
So-
yeah, well, I mean, you get these trolls too that also
And you
will
get
set up 50
trolls?
accounts and they're just vicious and they just they do all the weird stuff
Alright.
and then the other side of the spectrum. I know there's a place in New Orleans. It's not a bad place. It'll remain nameless, but if you look at their Urban Spoon reviews, the first week they opened, they had 100 reviews.
Yeah.
And they were all one-name persons who had one review each.
Yeah.
And it was just that, and they're like Joe, Mary, John, and each one was the greatest restaurant I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, are you kidding me? You couldn't
No,
even,
no.
I mean.
See, and that's the thing, man. So Specialus, to me, everyone in this room probably has a smartphone. That smartphone has a camera. That camera does video. And to me, in 20 seconds, you
Dave's
can
saying no.
accept Dave.
Except Dave.
Would you and feed the pigeon, by the way? And all you have to do really is just aim a damn phone at the food. It's special, and you can say, "Hey, this is Tony from Atchafalya. Tonight we're doing sautéed scallops over cauliflower puree. It looks like this." And if you look behind me, this is my restaurant, and you see the lighting, the rhythm, the cadence. You see what the restaurant is doing without any words, without anything. You can make a decision based on the food you're seeing right then and there. You can see the restaurant. So, you can't leave a comment. It's as simple as that. So
that's
it's just
what you've
one.
been showing me.
It's just another way. It's just another way for somebody to show off. You can do the bar program. You can do the wine program. You can talk about pretty much anything.
So has anybody else done this before? I mean,
No,
other apps, you're the first app. Because
I'm
I
the
have not
first
heard
one
about
to-
one like this. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I think
So how do you
so.
keep everybody else from imitating you and undercutting you? You just got to get it out there, huh?
Well, that's the thing with apps, man. There's a lot of examples of you having a good idea, but then you have,
how
they
much-
have somebody
how
with a
much do you
fuck ton
pay
of
for
money,
Specialus
and they
then?
they steamroll and they'll beat you to the punch, and they're like, all right, well, I'll outspend you to the finish line. So, probably shouldn't have said that, but
Somebody right now is
Greg going, "Ah, that's a
making
good
a call.
idea."
Yeah, right.
but there's nothing you can do. It's like trying to copyright a talk show. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
But tell me how the app works, Tony. You've been showing me all these things.
I just explained it, man. Anyways.
No, but just go down just a little bit.
All right. So,
I don't have I've got a flip phone.
So,
but I got to have it on I can get it on my computer.
So,
and you're telling me that the kitchen is going to tell you specials. So that's cool. You see the food.
So you set settings so it gives you notices and so forth and lets you know when stuff's changing. Is that the deal?
So if you're a restaurant or a bar or anything like that, you set up an account. And you have your Specialus account. So, and then within the app itself,
how much does that cost?
You have upload 0, and you would hit upload. I'm gonna hit you. I swear to God. You take the phone and you.
Unfortunately, this is not video. The show, but
no, I know. Yeah. You have a med kit back there. I've already rated that. So the point is,
trying to understand.
I know. So, anyways, you can keyword search. You can go to the app and keyword search Vittles, Sweetbreads, Commander's Palace, whatever, and see who's posting what.
So if you're craving a certain item of food, you can find out which one of the restaurants in your region or whatever has it.
It's only in New Orleans now. We're kind of a rolling beta still. Nice. In fact, we have a lot of kinks, man. I mean, when I jumped into the tech world, I was a little naive and
Tony, anybody can send you those, and you can put that on there?
Well, you just have to open up an account as an establishment.
Great.
Yeah.
And what's the cost for the app? $1, $2?
Zero.
Zero. It's a free app.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know.
Why doesn't everybody in the city have this right now?
Maybe
they will after the show.
There's some technical problems. But, we had some good Ian McNulty did a good cover story on it in the Advocate, and we had some news and all that. But, man, I'm learning so much. For every $1 you spend on coding, you need about 50 cents on marketing. And I just.
So where are you marketing it?
Well, right here now. I'm not really do marketing too much now, but the problem is, what we're doing right now is we're still getting the kinks out.
You're telling all chefs.
So you don't want to tell too many people about it because they're going to be
I'm
frustrated
just
with
going,
it right now.
For people who know what's going on and saw, and my circle of friends, they're using it right now.
Right.
And I'm going, I'm just going to my community friends and just building up a bunch of profiles.
Okay.
So, because I did this all with my own money.
So do you want to tell people right now where to find it? Is that a good idea?
Specialus.com if you don't have an iOS.
How do you spell that?
Special.
It's with the US, right?
Special and us together. One word, Specialus.com. And here's the thing, if you ever want to get your own domain, sure enough, you can spell it with a Q or a silent little squiggly line, and somebody is cyber squatting on us. I was lucky to get that.
Wow.
But, so it's at the Apple Store, Specialus.
I didn't understand
and then it's .com.
You didn't understand that either? You don't have to.
Good. I think that's unbelievable.
Well,
if you want to know, just give him a call, and he'll tell you what's on the menu.
But
do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get it? All right. Does anybody get it? Grant, do you understand what I'm saying? All right.
Grant's already made his. Grant's just copied it.
20 seconds, and
that dude over there has already worked out all the kinks. He's got he's got his own version.
Yeah. And it could be the specials or just anything that lets you know more about that restaurant rather than what you get from all those aggregated opinion sites.
I'm very impressed, Tony.
Well, I am too, and I'm also impressed by the fact that I have done less than half of the things I wanted to talk about, and we're already out of time. So the trick is you got to get another guest to bring you on as a +1, and they can talk to you some more about the stuff. But
I would do that.
Yeah, that's right. We could switch. All right. Dave Feel No Pain could be our guest, and you could be the +1. We'll talk about that off the air in a moment. But our special guest tonight, a Midnight Menu +1, was Tony Tocco, and his +1 was Dave Feel No Pain. David Feel No Pain. Sorry. You told me Dave when you came in. I swear. You can find out more about both of our guests and much more by following the links on our website. It's neworleans.com. Thanks again to Petite Pet Care, Hangover Destroyer, and the NOLA Brewing Tap Room for the awesome beer this evening. Thank you very much, guys. The NOLA Brewing Tap Room is open 7 days a week. Have we mentioned that yet today? And you can come here anytime, or you can join us back here next week again for another Midnight Menu +1 every Monday night. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, I'm Ray Canada. Good night.
Let me just say thank you to the bartenders here. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you know what? And let me. I'm sorry. I ended prematurely. We should let folks know your website. You got a website?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us website on your major.
On the app, it's Specialus.com. On the restaurant, it's Atchafalya restaurant.com.
No one's going to have to spell that, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah. Steak and Jake's has a website?
It does. I don't remember.
place
what
is
it
still
So it's
open?
basically it's just open.
You should probably just go there.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
basically just open all
I'm
the
not the
time.
owner anymore, though. I mean,
Oh, you're not the owner.
No,
Jake,
my partner
anymore?
bought my half.
Oh, okay, we still do show
David
there, though.
Clemens is, yeah.
Okay, well that was nice that you gave them such a long plug and you're not even involved anymore.
Oh yeah. I
All right,
know.
Clemens owes you something. All right, again, thank you so much and good night.
Summer's almost over, but at Old Navy the styles are as hot as ever. Get to Old Navy now for 30% off all jeans, 40% off all dresses, and 50% off all tees. That's right, get 30, 40, and 50% off all your favorite styles for the whole family, plus up to 75% off clearance. Hurry in fast. These deals won't last. The sale ends soon at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid in-store 8/22 to 8/28 and online 8/22 to 8/24. Excludes in-store clearance, bubbles, active, licensed, and men's package tees.